I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. If a man has been his mother's undisputed darling, he retains throughout life the triumphant feeling, the confidence in success, which not seldom brings actual success along with it. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. I have found little that is good about human beings on the whole. In my experience, most of them are trash, no matter whether they publicly subscribe to this or that ethical doctrine or to none at all. That is something that you cannot say aloud, or perhaps even think. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips, so betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want to? The interpretation of dreams is the road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. A civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. The conscious mind may be compared to a fountain playing in the sun and falling back into the great subterranean pool of subconscious from which it rises. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. What a distressing contrast there is between the radiant intelligence of the child and the feeble mentality of the average adult. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. The tendency to aggression is an innate, independent, instinctual disposition in man. It constitutes the powerful obstacle to culture. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. What we call happiness in the strictest sense comes from the or preferably sudden satisfaction of needs which have been dammed up to a high degree. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. What progress we are making! In the Middle Ages they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic in some part or other, and to a greater or lesser extent. A certain degree of neurosis is of inestimable value as a drive, especially to a psychologist. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The goal towards which the pleasure principle impels us of becoming happy is not attainable, yet we may not and cannot give up the efforts to come nearer to realization of it by some means or other. The psychoanalysis of neurotics has taught us to recognize the intimate connection between wetting the bed and the character trait of ambition.